told that that's the city of Congress. The other screen should already be on mute because it's less than Nicole's. So we're good to go.
Okay, I think we're good to go.
Okay, so at 3:33, we will call this meeting to order. Sean, do you want to go ahead and take roll? I mentioned I am driving, so while I leave the meeting, I'm going to have you guys kind of go through the agenda because I'm not able to read it while I go. So.
Okay, so roll call. Do you guys usually just, so is Steve Owens?
Here.
Dr. I'm sorry, is it Sheris?
It's Cheris. Yeah, I'm here.
Sheris Current, okay. And Monica Boyle?
I am here.
And I think that's it, right? Everybody else is.
Yep. And Robert is excused.
Actually, Robert gave his resignation yesterday morning. And so we currently only have 3 members. I have authorization from the mayor to reach out to the person that took over the Walla Walla University Guest House. So I will be doing that and hopefully have that person in place before the November meeting. But we will also be looking for someone to fill Robert's role. He said that he doesn't expect the Visit Walla Walla new executive director to be in place until December. So if anybody's got any, that position will have to be somebody who represents an organization that can use or apply for the funding. So if anybody has ideas on someone that might be willing and interested, it's only 2 meetings a year, so.
We're a high maintenance group, Lisa.
Yeah.
I hear that James Payne has applied for the fort a number of times. I wonder if he might be interested.
That's a really good idea. I will reach out to him. Thank you.
Okay, so it looks like next we have public comment and we don't have anybody here. And I don't see anybody in attendance via Zoom, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So
So we'll move on.
Okay.
So next we have the consent.
Go ahead. Do we have a movement to approve the consent agenda?
I can second that, or I can first it if need be.
I'll second if that was a first.
thank you.
Okay.
So then we just need to vote on that.
Okay. So, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all opposed? Okay.
Now, did you want me to read what's on here, Monica, or?
So it looks like I can see what's on your screen. I'm just trying not to read it too close. So the next one is the first report that we've got is the early estimates from funding available from the budget from 2023. And go ahead, Lisa.
So these are very, very preliminary numbers because obviously some expenditures haven't come in yet, and of course we don't know necessarily how rentals will go over the next several months, but just if we average over the next several months what we've received so far monthly this year, we should have approximately $50,000 in the fund for next year. Then we would, of course, I forgot to put on the deal, but we've got our reserve that we keep in there. So we should probably have about really close to the same amount for the 2023 budget that we had for the 2022 budget.
Good. Good. Okay. And let's see. There's the Fort Walla Walla 2021 report for the lodging tax funds from the funds that they received.
Yeah. Did you guys look at those? I guess just click on the.
I did. They both are summarizes just their final reports back from how the dollars were used, numbers of how their event went, and numbers of attended, and looks like it went really, really well, which is fantastic. Was a very successful event from what I also heard just in passing from people as well.
Does anybody have any questions regarding that one? I could reach out to the museum if anybody's got questions on that. Okay. And then the College Place, I kind of included a little bit of information about Freedom Festival because we have had it, but not all the expenditures have come in yet. Of course, for 2021, you guys authorized the money to be spent for additional lighting for Light Up the Avenue. And the purchase that we made ended up being like 13,000. So 10,000 of that came from the lodging tax funds and the remainder came from the city current expense fund. And so those will be, that's a great investment, I think, because we get to use those every single year. So those will last for a really long time. And then Freedom Festival this year, it was our first one for a while because for 2020 it got canceled, and then 2021 we were going to have it with COVID precautions, and then it ended up being 106 or 107 or something that day, and we had to cancel. So this year we had fabulous temperature and a really good turnout. I think we had like 1,800 people was our estimated count. The band was great. I heard a lot of really good feedback. Unfortunately, I was working with really limited time, so I did not get a chance to set up a procedure for getting actual counts from like how far away people were located. I was out for a conference and then immediately came down with COVID afterwards. And so I was out for several weeks during the crucial planning part of that event. So we were running on strings, but I did personally, pardon? Oh, I didn't catch that. I'm sorry. I worked the entrance desk at that event, and through personal conversations with people, I know that we had people from at least one family from New York, several groups from California, and I'm assuming they were here for the holidays visiting family. But several people, we were doing, Domino's Pizza had given us some donated gift cards. And when we were giving tickets for the drawing for those out, several people said, well, if they were for only the local one, it wouldn't work for them because they were from way away. And so we did find out, we did have people from out of the area at the event. So if there's any other questions about Freedom Festival, I would be happy to answer them as best I can.
At least questions. but I think that given, I mean, having any event as a return event post-COVID in the first year that we bring things back is its very own animal. I've done a few of them through work, and they're definitely, you know, so many different pieces than what we're used to in the past. And so I think it went really, really well. My family had a good time. It was great to see people come together in College Place again and be able to put it back. So great job, especially knowing what your weeks leading up to it looked like for you. So great job.
So the next thing that we have is actually kind of the reason that we decided we needed to have this meeting each year is for determining what that application process is going to look like and what the timeline is going to look like. So I sent the draft, or I attached the draft application, and then I've got a paper copy in front of me that I can make notes on if we want changes. I'm just looking for input and modifications or approval on the application and the timeline.
I didn't have any questions. I thought that when I looked through it, I thought it looked really, really good. I think that the application's real straightforward. The timeline looked clean and realistic and gave allowance for all the different steps. So I didn't have any concerns. Did either of the rest of you?
No. No concerns.
So could I actually get then a motion to approve the application and the timeline?
I'll move, we approve the application and timeline.
And I'll second it since I'm the only other person.
Okay, and if we can vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, same sign. And it carries.
Thank you so much.
And I have a quick question. So because I work for United Way, and talking with my team earlier this week, we have an event that we're bringing in that is going to be at one of our local wineries next fall. Because if I'm not the one submitting an application, but because I'm the chairperson of this group and I'm associated and employed by United Way, is United Way allowed to apply for this grant if I'm not the one applying?
I would assume so, because Steve, like, 2 of the members are required by law to be people who can apply.
Okay.
2 of the members are required by law to be people who pay it, and 2 are to be people who can apply for it. And then 1 is to be, the chair is to be a council member. So
Okay.
that is statutory. So I would assume that would not make a difference. Then as far, I mean, and the city applies too, so.
Right. And I figured I just wanted to make sure before the gal that was looking at that put the time into doing it. So I said, let's make sure I don't have any conflicts and it doesn't just shoot us in the foot. So, okay. All right. Sorry about that. Carry on.
Oh,
Next
good
week.
question.
One more point on that. Something maybe for Lisa, for you to look into is, and it goes back to Charis's earlier comment about perhaps bringing James Payne on. While they can apply, are they allowed to vote?
Right. I might need to recuse myself when it comes to that application would be my assumption.
Yeah. So anyway, something to look up perhaps for the next meeting or whatever. But
I will definitely have that information before November.
Yeah. Okay, so then we have looking at the language for the the request for proposals and advertisement plan.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that other than just updating the dates and things, this is from last year, correct? We kept all the verbiage and, yep.
It is a complete cut and paste and change the dates.
Perfect. I love it when we can just do things like that. And I don't think you got any backlash or concern from anybody from last year's posting, I would assume.
No, I think the main thing that we were, that the group anyway last year was concerned with is maybe if we could think of additional maybe places to advertise this, to get additional interest in applications. So.
Because right now, I know we place an ad in the UB, and I'm assuming it goes out in Norma's monthly newsletter.
I don't know if it does or not. I think we usually put a blurb in there about it. We do on social media, and I can put it on the reader board out front.
Yeah.
But if anybody's got suggestions about additional outlets, preferably ones that don't cost money, but obviously we pay for the ad for the Union Bulletin. But typically that's all we've paid for in the past. But I'm certainly willing to put it anywhere that you guys would like it to go.
I know that Sherwood Trust and the Community Foundation both share regional and Valley grant opportunities. So you might ask them to share it in their information as well.
Okay.
And then maybe the Chamber of Commerce, I don't know if you just email them if they have a listserv of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Or the port, I don't know. Maybe those entities.
Yeah.
All
right. I will make sure it goes to all of those places as well this year. So, I would request a motion on the language and advertising plan, if you guys are so inclined.
I make a motion that we abide by the discussed plan for advertising this grant opportunity.
Second.
Okay, everybody in favor, say aye.
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 And those opposed, same sign. And it carries.
Perfect.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? Lisa, is there anything else that you need from us?
No, I don't need anything. If there's anything that anybody else would like to discuss or suggest, I'm open to hearing things. Otherwise, I will see you in November.
And I didn't see on there, and maybe I missed it. Was there and it just occurred to me, so I probably should have asked this before. On that, does it have list typical amounts? And it doesn't have to, I just couldn't remember seeing it. Like if there's a cap or anything like that, and if there's not, then it doesn't need to be in there, but I didn't remember seeing it.
Oh, there's not an amount or a cap.
Okay.
Typically, I know James Payne usually calls me and asks me what kind of funding we're looking at having available. And so I will provide that information to anybody that calls and asks.
Okay.
But when they make an application, the board does not have to recommend awards in the amounts that were put on the application.
Right, and in my experience with these, typically, more often than not, if it lists a maximum, that's automatically what people put in their applications. And so that was part of why I was curious, but if there's not specifically a cap, I think it's great that we don't have to have that listed, so that's good.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Lisa, do I have to have a motion to adjourn, or are we good to close, for me to just announce the closure?
It would be great to have a motion to conclude.
I'll move
Okay.
to conclude the meeting.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Okay, and with that, this meeting is adjourned at 3:53.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so
Thanks.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Or not the Zoom, the YouTube.
Through the Zoom bar.